Hey guys, welcome to this episode of... Is that right? It's a bit weird, isn't it? We're vlogging, mate, now. We're vlogging. We're vlogging, yeah. You can get back to work. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode on the Great Man Challenge channel. I'm here with an old friend of mine, Ed Worley, who is an artist, goes by the name Opake. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, you've nailed it.
I've nailed it on the head. It wasn't hard actually. Ed and I went to university together. Since then, both of us have been on our journeys with addiction, substance abuse, and getting back onto the straight and narrow, and also realising that the work kind of really starts when you get clean. We're going to have a little chit chat today while Ed and his right hand man Suto here are working on a piece of artwork.
I fucking rate that intro.
Thanks, mate.
Very good.
Yeah.
Documentary filmmaker fails.
Documentary filmmaker in the making.
If it fails, you can become a presenter.
Great, daytime TV. I've been told I look a little bit like Claire Balding and that guy from Home is Under the Hammer. So your work is deeply personal. Can you tell us how your experience with addiction shaped not just your life, but your creative voice as an artist?
My experience with addiction shaped my life in so many ways because I ended up in such a fucking bad situation. When I make art, for me, painting something, it doesn't have any social commentary, I guess. It's a commentary on my own mental health and
where you're at that particular time.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I just, coming out of drug addiction, which seems like an eternity ago.
How long ago was it?
7 years.
7 years?
Yeah, 7 years, nearly 8 years. Coming out of that, I just had fuck all to fall back on, mate, like nothing. And I mean, I ended up on the street. I've said it already, but like we were doing armed robberies. It was fucking hectic. And I'd recently fallen in love with somebody and she had a son who's now 9. And I wanted to be a good father. I didn't want to be like this useless father figure in this boy's life that really needed a father. And I mean, it worked both ways. He essentially saved my life. And I was desperate, mate, and it came out of desperation. I've painted since I was a kid, and I've drawn since I was a kid, but never had any self-confidence in it. I'd write like, this is shit, like on drawings I did and stuff, and I just like was on the floor, but out of that desperation came like something really good because I had nothing to fall back on, nothing. I was like unemployable. In my own head, I was unemployable. I just pushed really hard at making art. But like, and you know, we had this conversation earlier. I mean, I've been clean nearly for that period of time, and over the last like 2 years, I thought I'd fucking nailed it because I was sober, but actually my whole life was just completely spiraling out of control and I didn't even see it.
It's an interesting thing that as well. Like I gave up booze 4 years ago because I was making bad decisions and I was never at the same level that you were in terms of like how often I was using and doing it, but I was running away from a lot of pain that I wasn't processing. And when I gave up the booze, I then held on to a load of secrets and mistakes that I'd made when I was drinking, thinking that I could leave that part of my life behind me, and then that work needed to start. And actually since giving up alcohol and you know, the bad drugs that came with it, what I've noticed is that actually my addictions are playing out way more in other parts of my life.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I used to go to meetings. I used to do a lot of NA and AA meetings, CA meetings, any fellowship you can think of, I was there. And at the time, like, you know, I was smoking crack in the toilets of the meetings and then going into the meeting. And people would be like sharing and they'd be like 10 years clean and they'd go like, oh, it's not the drugs and alcohol that you know, the maintaining kind of problem that you can't let go of, although there's a solution, but it's all the behaviors that then follow afterwards. And at the time I was just like, fuck off, like I can't even get a day clean, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. You know, like I just want to get rid of this thing, and once I've got rid of it, like I'm good. And essentially, like, addiction is something that is always there, it's never going to leave you, and all you can do is manage it. And you can become complacent, and when you're complacent, that thing, I had somebody once explain it to me as it's a twin that lives inside you that only you can see, and its sole purpose is to try and isolate you and kill you. That's all it's trying to do, and it's fucking patient. And I thought, because I was hanging on to this idea that because I wasn't using drugs and drinking, that I was all right. And actually, I was just obsessing over earning money. I hated my family, you know, like, because in my head, like, success became my like drug, and it was just feeding this fucking thing in me. And I didn't even see it happening till the point that as soon as anything would slow down, or like the Instagram gratification would slow down, anything like that I'm feeding off of, I'd just be the most like abhorrent person to be around. And I've, you know, it's only this, I mean, this has gone on for a long time, and it took a fucking horrendous situation between me and my partner for me nearly losing my family, for me to see it. And I realized, like, at that point that I just put social media away. I've always thought that social media is just such a horrendous thing, but I'm on it constantly. And since I've put it away and I don't have my phone when I'm with my children, I've only just realized that I'm only now really like seeing my kids, which is like heartbreaking, but also like this really
it's amazing that you caught it so early on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because some people go through life doing that. I mean, I witnessed it with our parents' generation, is that they used to be telling us to get off our devices.
Yeah.
I see 60, 70-year-olds now, and they literally just spend their entire time on their telephone.
Yeah, 100%.
I was chatting to Amelia Wrighton from Suicide & Co. yesterday, a charity I told you about earlier,
Yep.
that help with people bereaved by the loss of a loved one.
Yep.
And was talking about addiction, and you know, I reference Gabor Mate a lot because he's, you know, I mean, he's an absolute goldmine. He spent 55 years working in trauma. He's a clinical doctor and psychologist, and he's literally spent 50 years and studying it, and none of that stuff really ever leaves you. You know, he was a Hungarian Jew that was born during the Holocaust, and the Nazis were closing in on Budapest, and when he was, I think, a year old, or even less than that, a few months old, his mum gave him away to a friend of hers who wasn't Jewish, because she was afraid that the Nazis were going to come in and he was going to get taken and taken away. And it was about a matter of weeks, or maybe even a couple of months, she gave him back. And that imprint that he has no actual memory of has left an abandonment issue with him until now, when he's, you know, in his mid-70s. And the stuff stays with you. Yeah. And that's what you're talking about there, when you talk about the fact that it's like a twin, yeah, that's living in you and is very, very patient.
Yeah.
And what I've found is that through this sort of process of undoing and kicking alcohol and realizing there's a whole other heap of shit that needs working on, that some days you have good days, you try your best is different depending on what day it is. Sometimes your best really, really shit. But I don't know, I have a sort of predisposition to chastising myself for not being as good as I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And actually, in the context of the project, the Greater Man Challenge that we're doing, it's just acknowledging that there is the intention to be greater, to be better than we were, but we're not always going to be, you know, at our best possible. But acknowledging that's there and the work's there and the work needs to be done is really just part of that process, you know.
I mean, like you're talking about Gabor Mate and like the work that guy's done is absolutely unbelievable. I've listened to a lot of it, but for me, like when all this thing fucking kicked off and it blew up, I was sitting. I left the house and I was fucked, you know, like fucked. And I was gonna come here. I was gonna live in this studio, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, where I was gonna turn. I sat on a bench at the end of my road waiting for a bus, and you talk about Gabor Mate. I just went straight to listening to this. He's a retired Navy SEAL, DJ Shipley, and just this whole Be a Pro speech that he talks about, like steady pressure and just making yourself 1% better every day, and by having discipline back in your life and a morning routine, and slowly increasing that over time. And that fucking speech saved my life, mate, essentially, because I realized that if I'd walked away at that point and I'd come up here, that could have been the end of all of it. And like, if I'm left to my own devices, which I have been for such a long time, like, and in that moment, I would have been left to my own devices in my studio, and kind of despair kicks in. Like, I don't know what the fucking outcome of that is. And essentially, yeah, that like 20-minute video at that point, like, saved my fucking life. And I knew that everything had to change, but there's ways of changing it and there's ways of implementing it into your life. And essentially, you want to just start small and build up, and wake up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time every day, implement some sort of morning routine which like actually works. And I try and pick and it's so fresh, all of this stuff fucking happening, but I try and pick and choose like bits and pieces of knowledge I've collected on the way instead of the bits and pieces of fucking trauma. And another one is like Just for Today. There's a book, Just for Today. Addicts use it a lot. They use it a lot in meetings, and it's every day in that book for the whole year. There's a Just for Today, and you read it in the morning, and it's try and live whatever that is for that day. But I just have two mantras I try. Just for today, I'm not going to lose my temper with my children. Just for today, I'm going to show Rue the love that she deserves as often as I can. And just for today, I'm going to keep everything simplified in my work environment, and we're just going to work on what we're doing instead of me being all over the place. Because my mental health, when it goes, man, like it got to the point last year where, well, no, this year, where I'm frantic, like manic, like a lunatic, fucking coming up with like new ideas. That's my phone. Doing that idea for half an hour, and then...
Do you want to get it?
It's going to be Charlotte, I think. Is she here? Possibly.
Probably.
Hello?
Hey Ed, it's Charlotte.
Hi. You're on my assistant Suto is going to come and let you in. It's about implementing discipline back into your life and having a support network. And I'd fucking dropped all that out because I thought I was just operating off of my own ego and my own free will. And that is, for me, is fucking dangerous because I'm like wild, mate. I see the world in such a fucking skewed way that I need a routine. I need to stick to a plan day by day by day. And I've lived so far in the future for such a long time that the idea of me being present in a moment was just fucking gone. Like I was not present ever.
Is that because within the present moment there lives so much pain that you're having to deal with? Because like, again, addiction actually, if you look at it from a positive viewpoint, is what is the addiction teaching you? Like what is it that's telling you to move away from? You know, like what is that part of you that is so painful?
Well, for me, it was always that I'm trying to prove myself to everybody around me and never could.
Yeah.
And never could.
Hi, Charlotte. Yeah. Good, thanks. Yeah. We are, yeah, but welcome. It's all right. We're just having a discussion. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's very casual. How do you approach turning your pain and your struggle into something visually powerful and healing, like specific to your artwork? I know that you experiment a lot with like the repetition of shapes. I know there's sort of, you use in the old Disney characters and then you pull them apart and turn them into a repetition. And you've talked about debunking Einstein's theory of doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. Like, how does that work for you? How do you channel your pain, the continuing pain that you're in, into reinvigorating and reinventing your process?
Well, I mean, like, the most amazing thing about doing something that's like a creative outlet, especially something like painting, is you can focus so hard on that to such a degree that it becomes a form of therapy. And like, there's no entry point to that. You can just get a fucking piece of paper and a biro and sketch and doodle and do whatever you want to do. And it's just consistency, mate. Like, I came up with an idea, and like so many things in my life before I got clean, like I've got so many unfinished tattoos, like, because I would never finish anything. And I got clean, and then it was like, throw yourself into this practice and just do it over and over again. Trying to get 1% better every fucking day, and that's what I did. And I just focused on it to such a degree that it became everything. I swapped my addiction for fucking substances to my artwork, which I've now found out, funnily enough, was actually a really unhealthy thing to do. Which is sick.
So what's the message here?
Yeah. You're fucked.
Be a great blooper reel.
I think find something that you fucking love. Anything, it can be anything, collecting stamps, anything you want, and just hone in on it and focus on it. Purpose. Give yourself a purpose to wake up in the morning. Purpose and responsibility, for me, are the two cornerstones to sobriety. Give yourself responsibility, give yourself a fucking reason to wake up in the morning, and pursue that with everything you have whilst doing the work, the outside work, the therapy, meetings, whatever you need to do, your support network. I have a tendency to just isolate myself to the point that it's incredibly unhealthy.
But I think that's a very male thing
Yeah.
that I'm observing, having all these conversations since starting the GMC project, is that the statistics speak to it, but actually having conversations with people, and I even have it myself, is that, the other day I was having, I felt crap. I was in a co-working space near my home, and I just started crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on a minute. I've got this group of 3 guys, 4 of us together, and I can reach out to them. And I was like, guys, I'm having a really shit day.
Yeah.
Half an hour later, we'd had all of this wonderful back and forth, and I felt like I wasn't alone. And actually, all of these problems that I was making really, really big in my head, not to downplay them, like, these are big life things. This isn't just like I've lost my car keys, I know where they are. But, a problem shared is more than a problem halved.
Yeah. Totally, and I totally agree. And then the opposite of that is you do what I do, and you just live. You do what I did, and you just live in your ego, and you're not present, and you just throw yourself into something, and you just become an echo chamber to yourself, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. And all that needed to happen, all I needed to do was just reach out to the person that I essentially love the most in the world and just say, like, I'm really fucking struggling. But I didn't do that, and it imploded my life. And now I have to rebuild my life again, my mental health again. And that's okay, because I can do it. I've done it before, I'll do it again. I'm not afraid of that task. But it was something as simple as just reaching out, and I didn't do that. And it fucked me for 3 years.
Yeah.
And
which is a really healthy reminder.
yeah, totally. I dropped out my therapist, I dropped everybody out. My mum would call me, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this, like, this is what I'm about. I need to, and it was all centered around money. It was all centered
So you went from drugs to money.
to money.
Yeah.
To money and success and adoration and just feeding off of that. And I got so lost in it. And, now I'm I'm just trying to put that right. And I'll just, small building blocks, like baby steps every day. It's not about trying to fucking take over the world day one. And I have to stop myself from trying to do that. I'm like, right, this is my fucking morning routine. I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning, I'm going to draw for an hour, and then I'm going to go and box for an hour, and then I'm going to come back, I'm going to run to work. And I have to be checked by people around me that, like, just do half of that and then make that thing consistent and work, and then now implement other small changes. I'm not going to eat fucking bread anymore. I'm just going to eat protein.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's you create this like mountain of stuff that
Yeah.
you think you have to do to get to the top of it.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, balance doesn't involve adding shitloads of stuff. It involves pulling bits away
Yeah.
to create space to just be.
Yeah. And to
Yeah.
I just live just for today. One day at a time. Like I said.
Quarter mile at a time.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I've really fucked my wrist.
You know, that was super early noughties. That was. Okay, so I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more in later episodes. How would a trip across the Atlantic on a sailing boat be for you in maybe a year, maybe 2 years' time, depending on how quickly we manage to get it done? Would you be up for it?
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool.
Yeah, of course. I've known you for a long time, mate.
Yeah, mate. Epic. So there you go. First official member on the boat outside of the original core GMC team. I'm going to leave this guy now because he's got another artist here, Charlotte, who's going to check out his work. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode. If you like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe. Head to our crowdfunder page if you want to donate. Patreon's going to be up and running soon. And if that's more manageable for you, it would really, really help support the cause. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Thanks. Thanks.
Vlogger.
Thanks.